Hello everybody, welcome back for some more DmC Devil May Cry. What the fuck? You're not telling me I gotta go kill that asshole again, are you? I don't think so. Of course. Well, that was a waste of time to go do that and then go get food. I tried to go get some food out. Some fried chicken food out, but the drive-thru was a little packed. So I said, fuck that. And I went with the most basic bullshit I've ever done, like always. Fucking McDonald's. And no, I didn't get the McDonald's Minecraft Happy Meal. Not that there's anything really wrong with that necessarily. I'm just saying that, no, I didn't. Wait a minute, this is the other controller. Where did my... Oh, fuck! This has happened twice now. Put that damn thing away. I'm using the wrong controller again. That was the one that was dying earlier. The second one that was dying. We don't need to be using that one. We need to be using the one that not only feels good to use, but isn't dying with new full batteries in it. So, I'm just checking for lost souls. You never really know. Also, I think these, yeah, the mooks got upgraded. Also, I forgot that, I forgot about the things that this version added. Actually added quite a bit of stuff that I completely, not neglected, but just didn't remember that that was a thing. You might think it's weird, but sorry, I keep hiccuping. You might think it's weird, but the lock-on system was never a thing back in the original game. Not only that, but it was locked at, I think, 30 frames a second, which, to be fair, like, I don't really care that much, but... You know, you can definitely kind of see why it should be 60. Hack and slash and fighting games should be 60 frames. That should be the norm for that type of stuff. First person as well. To be fair, okay, let's be honest, most games need to be 60. Not everything. I mean, RPGs can kind of do without it. I'm just saying that if there's a game that requires at least some skill or reflex-based movement, I think it's probably personally worth it to just have, you know, 60 frames. Oh, wow. Oh, come on. Yeah, you do good once and then you fuck up, loser. Okay, he's about... I was gonna say, he's either about to die or something. I don't know. God damn it, I forgot they do that shit. I just want that fucker gone. By the way, yeah, you can't really grapple with them all the time. And whenever they do that, you can grab them after, by the way. So just... Pro tip. They're not... The Samurai Ninja guys are not that bad to deal with. In retrospect. I mean, they seem nasty, but they're really not that bad. I can assure you. Yeah, funny enough, whenever I think about getting the Minecraft meal, I just get all cringed out because I was watching Wings of Redemption's wife by, like, 16, I think it was. Hold on, guys. I'll give you a second. Just fucking wait your turn. I'm busy trying to do something here, jackass. Can't you see I'm busy? Yeah, whenever they're angry like that, you can, of course, again, you know, follow up with a grab, so... God, Dante is so cool. I'm kidding. I don't know. I mean, if he didn't talk, and... If he wasn't the cutscene Dante that we get, I think it would be probably better. If he was just a regular... Look, man, you know, I'm just here thriving and vibing. Rather than what we do have, which is a complete, total... narcissistic douchebag. So, yeah, be fair. But I was watching that today, and I was just completely just enamored about how fucking cringe it was watching this 40-year-old woman just go absolutely fucking strange, like, childlike on it. And look, I'd be the first to admit, like, you know, I buy games, I still play games, you know, I don't only buy toys anymore, but I still buy like figures and stuff. Like, I get it, but it's just so weird when you see somebody else that's older than you acting like, I guess you say not their age. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that, everybody should just grow up. That's not what I mean, but there's a certain aspect of it that's kind of cringe if you make it cringe, and that's what I was getting at, was it just, what they were doing was kind of cringy, so to speak. Not the fact that they're 40 buying Minecraft toys. I don't give a shit. And I don't think most people probably do. Lots of people collect, figurines and knickknacks and what have you at whatever age. I still collect shit, so I mean... Again, it's mostly just anime figures, but... Still, that's still technically collecting childish things, I guess. And to an extent, even like games, I guess you can consider as still kind of childish, quote-unquote. Although not really, in my opinion, but, who am I to say? I don't know. Let cringe be cringe, I know. I don't have to watch that stuff. That's the thing that you gotta remember, too, is, like, I don't have to watch that shit. It's my fault for even fucking clicking on the first damn place. So, like, I'm gonna get what I'm gonna get out of it, and it's my fault. It's much like, there's a lot of people that are very harmless in terms of cringe. Like, cringe sucks, but you should never be mad at them for being cringe. Just don't fucking initiate with them. That's the key trick to life. If you see something cringy, just fucking ignore it and move on. It's not worth the trouble, I promise. It's not worth the... It's more cringy to hate people for being cringy than it is being cringe, I guess. To be fair. I mean being rude about it. Like, if somebody's just being harmless cringe, right? Say, for example, like that one brony that went to McDonald's and wanted the Pinkie Pie toy or whatever. Like, he's not hurting anybody. Who cares? Or he wanted Rainbow Dash or whatever the fuck it was. I don't remember. But he's not hurting anybody. He's just kind of... Yeah, he's cringe... But that's it. He's not a bad guy for being cringe. He's just cringe. But then you got exceptions like, Cyrax or Chris Chan or whatever. And that at that point, like, I'm not saying like you should go out of your way to fuck with them, but they're a different level of cringe. They are an SCP level of cringe where they actually affect the real world in a way that, is not good. I guess you could say. Like, I should be talking about cringe. I mean, look at me. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people that find my content absolute shit, and I don't blame them for it. I don't mind my own content, but I know for a fact that there are people that find my shit cringe, and there are people that I find content-wise very cringy. I don't have to like every, Let's Player or YouTuber. That's the other thing, too, is, like, Let's Plays are inherently exactly that. They are, for what it's worth, the low ball of YouTube. They are the epitome of dog shit content on YouTube, in all fairness. And I get that. I get what I'm doing is nothing special. I'm well aware of that, trust me. But for me, it's more like I'm just having fun playing a game rather than doing it as a Let's Play. Yes, it's still called a Let's Play, and because that's just the most reasonable thing to call it. Look, I'm going to be honest. I used to watch the Rad Brad way back in the day. And this was like way back in the day. I used to watch him. I don't anymore, but... I never... I get why, but I don't really accept it as a thing. But him calling his content walkthroughs has always kind of bugged me. And it's more so because, like, in my opinion, a walkthrough is something that somebody knows what they're doing. Because, okay, how I work via Let's Plays is, if I'm doing a blind game, which I hardly ever do blind Let's Plays, to be fair, If I ever were to do a blind Let's Play, I would probably call it blind. I'm not a fucking... I don't want to trick people into thinking like, oh, he knows what he's doing. I feel like if you don't have blind in your title, or something of the other, like, you're just kind of tricking people into something that you know it's not true. I don't know. I'm weird about that. But just to kind of give it as something to talk as a rule that I do for hardcoring, for example, my second channel, I won't typically do a guide of a game I've never at least beaten before, because I want to have full extensive knowledge enough to get through it to make it a reasonable thing that I can consider a guide. And I feel like it's not a guide if I don't know what I'm doing. But you could say, well, that's just a guide. Like, in all fairness, with the Rad Brad, like, his content is a walkthrough. He edits out, you know, I think he does still, like, edits out stuff that's kind of just not worth having the trouble having it in there. Oh, look at that, a DmC 3 reference. What do you know? Like, in all honesty, he's getting through the game. He's showing you what to do and where to go. Yeah, but he's figuring it out while he does it, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what kind of gets me, is like he's figuring that stuff out as he goes. Yes, you could argue that it is a walkthrough, sure, but for me personally, what I would consider a walkthrough is something more aligned to, I know what I'm doing, I've done this before, I'm going to show you how to get through it, or how I get through it, alright? And that's why I feel like that, yeah, oh, for fuck's sake. There is a spin move you can do, actually. Well, it's one you gotta have to unlock, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, duh. Shit, I might do a fucking DmC 4 Let's Play after this, let's be honest. Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. I have other ideas in mind that I think would be more worth doing. But to be fair, see, that's the thing, though. Me stopping myself from doing content sounds kind of stupid, doesn't it? It's like, man, if you just want to fucking do it, do it. Like, who gives a shit? By the way, you can't go through those, if you're wondering. That's why I'm not doing that, because you can't. Like, if it's something you're thinking about doing, why not? You want to do Infamous 2? Go do Infamous 2. I kind of don't, to be completely honest with you. Not that I don't like Infamous 2. I think it's okay. I love the melee system. I think that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of missions in that game that I think are kind of just dog shit, but I think a lot of it's just kind of whatever, to be fair. However, it's still a cool game, you know. It's not that I can't do it. Just, I really kind of don't want to. I don't have the motivation to really do it. But anyway, so yeah, back to the cringe stuff. It's not that I guess I find his stuff cringe just for Rad Brad. It's just, well, I just don't like his content nowadays. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to get at. Why did you have to load in? What the fuck was that? We're playing the definitive edition of this game, and you have to fucking load in? No. Definitive my ass. I'm kidding. This is, without a doubt, 100% definitive. I'm not even joking. This is an absolute fucking banger of a game to play. Why did I... DmC. I got DmC brain. I'm playing this game like I'm trying to play an actual Devil May Cry. Like a regular run-of-the-mill Devil May Cry. Forgot what I was playing for a second, to be honest with you. See, again, you do actually get points, or you do technically get style for dodging at the right time. But what I was talking about earlier with the whole dodging thing, I was like, oh, isn't there something you get for dodging? And it's like, yeah, that's... fucking Platinum Games do that all the time. Yeah, I mentioned this in an earlier part, but... well, I kind of talked about it on the way here, too. I was kind of... because that's what I do. I was kind of thinking about it on the way here. Like, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to do... you know... a little bit more Turd Monkey content for just a little while, because we haven't given him anything, and plus, this sounds strange, but it might be enough motivation to kick me in the balls to say, hey, do other stuff outside YouTube too, because like, you know, whenever I do YouTube for too long, I start getting that kind of mood of like, ugh, I don't want to do it anymore. Also, fuck this gun. I've never been a fan of it, and also fuck this level with this damn cursed planning out shit bullshit. I'm trying to find things. I'm trying to look around here. So, yeah, this is the Kablooey. And, again, it's not bad, per se. It just... I think you can double stack it, right? Like, you can triple... or whatever. I'm sure... Oh, again, I'm doing that back R1 thing. I'm sure, like, there's use for it in combos and stuff. I'm not saying that there isn't. It's just that for me, personally, I've never really messed with it all that much. So... you probably won't see it often. I'll probably end up using the shotgun way more often, to be fair, because I do think the shotgun's really good in this game. Which I'm glad, you know, I love having good shotgun. There we go. I'm also kind of like in a slight mood to want to play Resident Evil. But honestly, if I'm going to do any Let's Play stuff right now, I think I should do Let's Plays of games that are kind of in my quote-unquote pseudo backlog. There's my regular backlog of games I've never played, and there's my pseudo backlog of games I keep fucking buying on different consoles for. And it's like, I kind of want to get my money's worth for doing it, buying it again, give me another reason to play it again, so it's like, I should do that. And I think, I don't remember, but I think I've never done a Dead Space 2 Let's Play. I've done a Dead Space 2 guide, absolutely, and you will probably never see a Dead Space 3 one. Just saying. I have no plans on doing Dead Space 3. I mean, if ever, maybe a Let's Play, if that. Guide-wise, I wouldn't count on it. I mean, it could. Not that it can't. But I just don't expect it to happen. Also, yeah, these poor bastards, man. If I'm getting this correct, I think they're getting fucking looped like in Portal. Like when you jump inside of a portal from Portal and just keep going. That would be hell, man. Speaking of hell. Can you imagine a never-ending ride on an elevator that just keeps going through the same one floor every time? God, that would suck. Also, yeah, Dante's Inferno. That'd be a fun one. That's another one of my pseudo backlog. 360 version. I do actually own, like, I bought the 360 version on Xbox One digitally, like, a long time ago. I did beat it on Xbox One, but I was like, you know what, I want a physical copy of the game, so I bought it. Look, typically, keep in mind, a lot of these, you know, I tend to buy at a relatively cheap enough price. Or usually good enough. So now we get to finally fight this fucking... I've out... said something bad again. Which, every time I think about saying something bad, I'm like... reminded of Sonic Heroes. Because I did technically say something bad in Sonic Heroes, and I had to fucking take it out, and I'm like, ugh. Yeah, it was just not a good thing to say. And I had this whole tirade about Nostalgia Critic and how much I don't like his content much anymore. Can you... Thank you. Either way, there were some bad words that were said. So, let's not do that. And then whenever I think of Sonic Heroes, funny enough, I don't know why, but I typically kind of want to play it. I don't know what it is. I don't hate Sonic Heroes by any means. It just... I mean, I don't like playing that often either, but still. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can triple that one, yeah. That's dope, yeah. What's feed? Oh, that's the, oh, okay. Wasn't there one where you can hold it down? Or am I wrong? I could have sworn there was one where it's like you charge it. Yeah, there it is, right? Yeah. Oh, we don't even have it unlocked yet. Oh, okay, gotcha. Also, change skins. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, we're going DmC 1 Dante in this bitch. That was mission, what, 15, 16, something like that, I think. God, I want to do Resistance. Yeah, got it. Well, the problem with doing Resistance 1, especially 1, is like, it's kind of long, guys. It's kind of a long one. Resistance 3 would be fun, but I kind of want to do it co-op. Like, I could always just technically do all three of us together. Apologies. I could always technically just do it all three of us together, yes, but it's so hard to kind of get all three together because one of us has a fucking odd schedule that doesn't ever line up with the two of us. And okay, let me just put it specifically. Let me just be honest here. So basically what happens is the way the schedules kind of work is my brother doesn't really have a very specifically good schedule. It's kind of all over the place. It's what happens. My friend's schedule does sort of line up to mine. Almost. Except he has to work a day earlier than I do, unfortunately. But he does typically have Fridays off. However, he's a goofy twat. Just kidding. That sounded really mean when I said it that way. No, but basically, so yes, his schedule lines up with us, but he's got other things that he does every other weekend. So it's like his plans are typically taken up by then, and if like we want to do something, so like for example, like since he does something every other weekend, outside of what we do, I guess, so to speak. It's like I have to wait for like the other weekend to get a chance to do anything with him, and even then, by then, it's like there's a possibility because it's just me we're talking about. Let's be honest, I'm a fucking cunt dweller. I'm the biggest piece of shit. There's always that one chance that I might just be like, well, I'm just not in the mood for it now. You know what I mean? That does happen. And the other thing too, like let's say for example, like all the moons lined up, right? Let's say that my friend, there's a week where he's finally available, right? There's a week where he's finally available. There's a Friday, and possibly even, God forbid, a Saturday right after that even my brother is available for. Let's say he's got the whole weekend off, right? And I got the weekend and everything. We all got the weekend off. We're all well available. Well, there's always, again, like I said, the problem of me not wanting to do it at that time. Me just not being in the mood. Like, we do have to kind of capitalize on the chance we have. But then there's my fucking stupid ass that sometimes just doesn't do that. That's one problem. My friend typically is usually down for it. I don't think there's ever really a chance that he won't be unless he's got other things going on. Like watching the Minecraft movie for the 13th time. No, I'm kidding. I think I only watched it once. But I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back again. But all jokes aside, there's always the potential. Like, he's usually down for stuff, right? Typically, he's the easier one to kind of get your hands on. I'm the easiest one to be there. However, recording-wise, that's a little bit more tricky because, like I said, sometimes I just don't fucking feel it. Like, I've just I got a headache, you know, I'm not in the mood. That kind of thing, right? That's like, ugh. Well, not to that extent, not that bad, but to the point where it's like, oh, man, you know, we had this whole thing planned out, and then Alex had to go and fucking ruin it because he doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't feel motivated enough to do recording stuff. So guess what's going to happen? We're not going to do it this week. God damn it. What a fucking surprise. And then there's my goddamn brother. And, you know, the thing is, I respect people's decisions. If they want to do it, they can. If they don't want to do it with me, they don't have to. Because, you know what they say, treat others the way you want to be treated, or whatever. And it's like, for me, like, if I'm not in the mood to do something, I kind of want people to respect that which, you know, I'm sure they do. At least, you know, they typically do. There's never really an issue with it. But if for some reason, you know, somebody said, I don't want to do it this week because I either can't or I just don't want to, I'd say, all right, that's fine. No biggie. And it may sound like I'm kind of bitching and whining. Don't get me wrong, like, I still want to do stuff, right? I still, of course, want to do stuff at some point, but my brother is honestly the more harder one to get your hands on because of the fact that even if he had a whole weekend to himself, that motherfucker is, in his mind, busy. And look, no disrespect. Like, he can do whatever he wants. That's fine. But in all fairness, I guess, you know what? I guess I could bitch for like a second, but sometimes I just want to do things. Sometimes, you know, I just want to do things, and then he's just not wanting to do things because he's busy playing his games. He doesn't do anything outside of work and play games, which, to be fair, that's not a bad thing because, hey, you know, if that's how he wants to enjoy life. See, I sound like an asshole when I say it like that. Look, if he wants to enjoy life that way, that's him, right? I'm not going to try to force him into doing something he doesn't want to do. That's not me. That's not how I want to be. Because that's a dick thing to do. Because, well, want to be hypocritical. Because, like, if I don't want to do something, then I goddamn don't want to do anything. I'm going to make damn sure that everybody knows, like, yeah, I don't want to do anything. You know? If I don't want to do something, I will pretty much just say, I'm not in the mood. Simple. My brother does the same thing too, but of course it's one of those things where it's like, when you're in the mood to want to do something and somebody else doesn't, it's like, fuck. You know? We had the one chance, you go ruin it, that kind of thing. Even though, like, in all honesty, you know deep down inside you want to do things, and then somebody kind of just doesn't want to do it. It does kind of hurt a little bit, but you have to respect their decision. That's how things work. Now, one thing I do kind of wish is that we might have a bit more better communication about things. You know, I tend to also fault at that as well a lot of the time. I'm not going to put the fault on everybody. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you got to communicate these things. Like, hey, I do kind of want to do it, but we got to find a good point to do it. We got to find a good week to do it. Because I never really ask, like, should we do it this week? I just kind of wait until, like, the weekend, see if anybody's available, and then we do it. So in all technicality, if I planned for it better, there could be a potential chance we might end up doing things more often if I actually planned ahead better. But I don't know. When it comes to this stuff, I just kind of don't want to plan it out too far in advance. Like, I'd still like to do it, but, well, sometimes we have ideas, you know, weeks before, and then we eventually follow up with it. But it all really depends. All I'm just saying right now is I'm just giving you guys the background check of what pretty much goes on in my head or whatever. But yeah, like I said, my brother is, again, the harder one to get your hands on because he might not be... He's a harder to get in the mood guy than all of us, right? Like, my friend will probably just do it because... Which, to be quite fair... I kind of wish that he was a bit more of the just tell me no, it's fine type guy. Like, if you don't want to do it, just say no. I kind of wish he would just do that. Because, like, I don't want to have him come over and we record a co-op game together and then he's just not vibing with it and then he just is quiet the whole time. Like, he's just not vibing with the game or vibing with the commentary. Because that kind of energy just kind of makes me feel depressed, and it's like, ugh, now I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it anymore, you know, that kind of thing. Like, I want everybody to be on, you know, good enough spirits to be able to do commentary. Because it does take, it might sound weird, but for me, it's not too hard if I'm doing my own commentaries. Like, I can do this pretty damn easy. I can do this all day. But, trying to do co-op stuff and try to be entertaining and talking to each other and doing topics, you know, can be kind of hard, I guess you could say, to come up with, especially if it's a game that one of us doesn't really have anything to know about or whatever. So, if he's not in the mood, he won't really tell you he's not in the mood, and he'll just kind of just do it. Which, again, like I said, you know, I'd rather him just be like my brother, where it's like, nah, fuck you, I don't want to do it. Which may sound more mean and rude, but I completely understand. Because, you know, I could do the same thing. It's like, nah, I just don't want to do it. Simple as. But that's just our different personalities, right? You know, that's just how we all work. That's just the formula, man. There's not much you can really do about that. You just kind of have to get used to it and deal with it. And of course, there's always the other problem too. Is like I typically, I hate to be honest with this, but I do tend to, unfortunately, get in bad moods quite often, especially if I'm at work. Because if I'm at work, I feel trapped. Like, I'm just not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to talk to anybody. I'm not allowed to fucking do anything at all. Because, to be honest, like, the people I can talk to, there's just no one. I mean, there is, like, every once in a while, somebody does kind of show up on the job. But then sometimes they just quit. You know, there's sometimes, like, those cool people that are like, oh, you know, they're kind of cool. And then they either quit or they get put on a completely different job somewhere else. And then you're kind of left alone again, which happened recently, actually. Like, we didn't have everything in common, but there was a kid that I would kind of, you know, talk to. By kid, I mean, like, 19. But, you know, I could talk to him, you know, because we worked next to each other. And he seemed like a good guy, you know. Just hang out and chill. We're not into the same stuff, like, he's not into video games or whatever, like I am, but still, you know, you could theoretically talk to him just as a genuine human being. Which I feel like some people, sometimes out in the world, you can't really do that with. And that's a lot of family members I have that are like that. They just, I don't know what it is, but they don't feel like real people. You know what I mean? I have an uncle on my dad's side, stepdad's side more specifically, that I don't know what's his fucking deal, but every time that we have a family get-together thingy with the full family on that side, which doesn't happen very often, usually around Christmas, that's the only time they really ever do anything. Around that time, I don't know what it is about his stupid ass, but he's this weird type of, like, fuck. Not fully, but somewhat, like, antagonistic. Like, you'll just be sitting there or whatever, and he'll be talking to somebody, and then just start talking about, like, he'll look over and talk about you, and be like, look at this fucking freak, or look at this fucking clown just sitting here, just saying something like, I don't really even talk to the guy at all, and just, I know, because you're probably thinking, like, well, Alex, you're just being an autistic retard, and that's completely true. I'm no doubt sure that that's what's going on. It's my stupid, paranoid, autistic ass thinking that they're just saying things to antagonize me. Which I know that, but who knows? It could be true. Or they're just saying things to probably just get me to... I don't know. I don't know. And like I said, I don't really talk to them enough, so, yeah. Yeah, I know I'm being autistic about it, but that, yeah. They're also relatively, I wouldn't say hyper-religious, but they're definitely religious folk. And my grandparents on my dad's side are religious, but they're not like... My grandpa is, well, not hyper-religious, but definitely more religious of that type of thing. More like, you know... He retired, and now he's a fucking preacher type guy. That kind, and it's like, here we go. My grandma's a little bit more laid back than that, but even then, still, yeah. But we don't really get, like, it's not that we don't get along, it's just we have nothing to really ever talk about. Well, I mean, with my grandpa, mainly. My grandma I could probably talk with a bit more, but... Grandpa, nah. And then again, like, the family on the outside of that, on their side, you know, my stepdad's side, like I said, are just kind of harder to talk to because, well, they're either fucking farmers or they're religious type, and it's like, we don't really mix. Especially considering the fact that I play games like this, and they don't play games at all, and, well, you know, oh, this fucking puzzle is dog shit. I'm not gonna lie, I may have to off-screen this. I'm not kidding, by the way. I may either have to do this off-screen, which will come later. God damn these hiccups. Or something or the other. I don't know. Anyway, real quick, just to finish off that co-op talk real quick. Just real fast. I know it's kind of out of left field again, but what the hell? Where do I go? How do I get back, game? You led me down here. How do I get back? Oh. Just to kind of finish it off. I would love to do more co-op stuff with all three of us, but again, it's not the most practical thing to do, unfortunately. And like I said, I'm not going to blame anybody specifically. There's no one person specifically that's the cause of it. We all kind of play a part in whether or not we're going to do recording that day. And like I said, I'm probably the worst of it in terms of, like, mood-wise. Because, like, that's my problem. My problem is my mood. And if somebody else is in, like, a sort of not happy mood, it also puts me in a bad mood, too. I'm very moody, if anything. So, that doesn't help. And like I said, my brother, you know, he just likes to do his own things a lot of the time. And again, there's nothing completely wrong with that, to be fair. You know, if he wants to do his own stuff, he can. I can't, nor will I try to stop him. I'll just say, like, that sucks, but alright. And now I sound like I'm trying to guilt trip, too. God damn it, I can't fucking say anything without sounding like a complete asshole, huh? And like I said, my friend, you know, he's a little more open to it, but he's got more stuff going on besides this. So it's like, in all fairness, you know, potentially a lot harder to kind of get. And then sometimes our moods just might not line up perfectly well. So there's always something. This thing is not just like a one-way thing. It's very specific in a lot of ways, as you can probably no doubt tell. But I would love to do Resistance 3 and Killzone 3. I might do Killzone 2 first by myself, maybe. We'll see about that, I don't know. I mean, I like Killzone 2 a little bit, but I'm not that familiar with it. I've only beaten it like once in my life. I've beaten Killzone 3 a couple of times. I beat it back in the day. Beat it a couple of years ago, I think. Forgot when, but I know it was like not that long ago. Well, long enough to where it was definitely long ago. Long ago time. Oh yeah, we don't have the right, we don't have the rave yet. I keep thinking, like, do I have it or not? Also, for those that are familiar with it, what about my other brother? I mean, yeah, he's not as hard to get anymore. He was at first, but I feel like nowadays he probably would, I think he wouldn't mind showing up for stuff. It's not that he's bad for recording. He's actually quite a funny man when it comes to commentary. Like, he's good with that. You know, he could be funny on co-op commentary stuff. It's just that there's nothing I can think of that we could do together that would make sense. And I don't want to push him into, like, getting into co-op Let's Plays with us. You know? Like, me, my brother, and my friend have established, especially me and my friend, we've done this for fucking years. I'm not even kidding. We've done this shit for a long time. One of our first things we did, I think the first Let's Play I really did was actually a co-op Let's Play of all things, to be fair. I could be wrong, but I think it was Kirby Superstar. But that was so long ago, I don't even know. But either way, we've done co-op stuff together a lot, alright? And then eventually, like, you could say, like, well, we're not really familiar with that because to be fair, all you ever do co-op stuff with is your brother. And it's like, well, yeah, because he's not necessarily... He's not... Well, like I said, it's not that he's easy to get. It's just more so that... Ew. That's gross. It's like Mario Sunshine. It's just that there's a lot of stuff I kind of want him to finally get to play. Because this motherfucker doesn't play anything besides the one same goddamn thing over and over again. He's locked himself into he's locked himself into playing Trails series. He's gotten to the point where he's gotten caught up in all the Trails games that are released here, except for the ones that are going to release soon. That's how bad it's gotten. And because Trails keeps releasing like 3 to 4 games a year, now he's stuck playing another fucking 30 to 50 hour game in like one weekend type shit. So that's why I typically do a lot of co-op stuff with him more often, is because I want him to fucking get to play a lot of these games I want to show off. And plus he's my brother too, and it's like, there's more of like a familial sense with it. I mean, to be fair, you could argue that my friend is basically a brother too. Or maybe like a cousin type thing. Like, yeah, it sounds really gay, but I've known him for so long that he's basically practically family. That regardless of, what happens or whatever, I could still kind of see him as like not what's the word I'm trying to look for? Basically like a, close cousin type thing. Again, sounds really gay, but it was something I was thinking of recently that came to mind. It's like, yeah, I've known him for so fucking long that he's basically just technically a family member that doesn't really show up for family events. He has in the past. We have done that before. I've brought him over before. We never got to his because, well, he doesn't really have a family, to be fair. Well, a family that really does a lot of that stuff that I know of. So I'm familiar with some of them, like his grandmother and his mother. But that's about it. His sister kind of, his brother kind of, but like now I'm just doxing shit. We all got brothers and sisters, right? So I talk about my brothers all the time. That's something thing too. Like another person that I could. I've only ever done it once, and well, that video is gone now because unfortunately, fucking YouTube. But my sister technically, like, I've always considered like, what if I get her in like a video? I think she was on a live stream one time, actually. But like, what if I ever get her into like something too? And it's like, but there's nothing really. I mean, the only games we really have in common with each other would theoretically just be Resident Evil, to be fair. But even then, still, it's like she is so far from commentary worthy, I'm pretty sure. I've never tested that theory. I always could bring her on for like a random game we could play together, like maybe a one-time, maybe like a Super Genius video or something. But then she'll have to come over to my house. And I'm sure she'd probably think that's weird. Hanging out with her brother at his house, recording fucking Let's Play shit, knowing her. She's probably like, that's weird. Because, as we all know, I'm the creep of the family. For some fucking odd-ass reason. That's just what people call me, I guess. Like, even my cousins have said that before. They're like, yeah, you're kind of like a creep. It's like, what the fuck did I ever do? Is it just because I'm quiet and weird? Or I guess that probably answers that, huh? I just don't talk to most people, so it's like they just think I'm weird. And I always hated that. I'm not gonna say that I don't have weird interests. Like, I certainly do. I'm a very, weird guy, I guess. I got a lot of weird humor. That, fortunately, my friend and my brothers do kind of get. Thank God for that. And you guys are well more than familiar with my type of humor. Especially if you watch my Let's Play content, you're probably more likely aware of what I am. Especially if I'm doing co-op stuff, then you definitely hear it there for sure. I do wish that, like, me and my brother's commentaries, I do kind of wish that we could talk about the usual stuff, like crazy, stupid fucking PlayStation conspiracy nonsense jargon. Not conspiracy stuff, but just like, oh, Phil Spencer did this week. Herman Hulst did this. That kind of shit. Because we typically end up bringing that up. But yeah, I'm not going to lie, this next part with the whole puzzle situation, I could try it out. I can give it a minute shot or something. Make this video just a little extra longer for it. You know, just kind of, I guess, see if I can do it without looking up a video of it. But that's the thing, though. If you fuck up, it's fucked. I kind of want it done. I could always, again, do it off screen. I mean, if you guys want to see how to do it, you just go look it up on YouTube. But I don't like this part one bit. Oh, for fuck's sake. Can't believe I forgot that this was going to happen. See, I wish that the enemies would stay in the air longer for that, but they don't. Yeah, maybe I'll think about maybe seeing if possibly... Because I've done a single, like, just me and my other brother before. We've done Luigi's Mansion. We haven't finished it yet, but we did start that. And I hate to be honest, but I think, like, we work better if it's all four of us. I feel like he's a group. He's definitely a group guy, if that makes sense. I feel like he works better if there's more people with more attention on him. Not that I'm trying to say that he's an attention whore or whatever. I don't think that's the case. It's just more so like I feel like if he's got more people to work off of, he feels more relaxed and probably better at just handling a crowd than he is without. That's how I see him as. He could probably just argue against it, but that's what I see. So this puzzle is fucking absolute fucking ape shit. And I hate it. And like I said, I can always look up a YouTube video in the background of doing it because this one sucks. I just don't feel like fucking with it. So anyway.